So let me tell you about my experience the other, when was it? What's today? So must have been 2 nights ago. Um, well, 3 nights ago. So my mate, he brings over to my joint because he came round. He brings some mushrooms, you see, and we both partook in the mushrooms, and it was about a gram and a half each or something. Not that that matters because it depends on the mushroom, surely. And if anyone didn't know, at the moment in Melbourne, in Victoria, is mushroom season. Shroom season for hallucinogenic mushrooms, found because the cold weather and then the winter rain comes in and they grow. If anyone's in a similar climate, they might notice other mushrooms just appear in grasslands or in your garden, or I had some in a pot plant, but they were different. They were more like field mushrooms. And these ones are little, and I don't know if they were orange, what tops. I don't know what, like, because you have, I think, orange tops, and then there are different ones. So I don't know exactly what these were and how good the people finding them, how much they know about them. So we had these mushrooms first night, and yeah, it was about a gram and a half, and everything was sweet. I felt like I'd taken an ecstasy pill. Felt like, without going into a hardcore sort of ping, it was like a half ping, but it really felt like I had taken an ecstasy pill, and I was laughing at the TV, and the TV was all weird, sort of like it seemed really, the colours seemed really vibrant, and what else? Yeah, and so anyway, and that's right, I've got no teeth if you're wondering. And so anyway, we've taken them, and it felt like, yeah, I'd just taken an E, and it was just sweet. And I was one stage I was dancing with my hands, and that felt really wicked too. So it was sort of like E-esque, ecstasy-esque, if you like. And so then the next day I thought, oh yeah, fuck it, I'll get him to get some more, but this time we'll have double the amount, because it didn't seem hardcore or nothing what we had the first night. So we went off, it took all day, and then wasn't until late at night that we got, that we actually got to score them, and we got double the amount. And Clive went up and he had some there. They gave him some there. He said about a gram. And yeah, he, like, the first night too, nothing seemed weird or anything. And then so, anyway, so we've gone and got them, come back home. They were saying have with lemon, mix them with lemon, like, and even put them in a mortar, put them in a mortar and pestle, and mix lemon with it, and it enhances the whatever. Now I did that a little bit, but so Clive took a little bit longer to have his, and I had mine. I had sort of half of mine first, and then I just thought after about 45 minutes, I thought, oh yeah, I'll just have the other half, was what, you know. And let me tell you, fucking hell, I wasn't tripping out. It was worse. It was fucking worse. And Clive and I were arguing too, and the more I actually, what started happening is, like, my mouth at times, I wasn't able to talk properly. Like, I got missing teeth, so you think you might mumble a bit, sort of, but I felt like an old person that, you know, their face crumbles in, and I felt like, and I couldn't speak properly, and I just felt like a mongoloid with my mouth. And Clive and I ended up arguing with each other about some stuff, and in the end I kicked him out. But and it seemed like when I was getting angrier, that the like my mouth muscles, if you like, weren't working properly, just in the mouth. And I didn't sort of notice anything else other than that, and everything sort of seemed fine. Then Clive and I got into an argument, and even in a bit of a tussle, and I kicked him out, and he went walking around everywhere. And then I'm here by myself, and I wasn't peeking out, and I can't remember when it started happening, but sort of my muscles in various places, I think mainly in my legs, were not sort of working properly. Like, it just felt weird, and I can't remember exactly when, but all I know is this. I was on the couch, and I felt like just here, and I felt like that was the safest place to sort of be, because weird stuff sort of was happening with my body, but I can't remember exactly when that was. And I thought to myself, go and get some bread, and, you know, because maybe it's too full on and you need to have something in your stomach to equalize it or whatever. So I went and got some bread, and then I had the bread in my mouth, and I went to the toilet, and I did a piss. And as soon as I did a piss and finished and flushed the toilet and turned around, I just collapsed to the floor. I collapsed to the floor. I couldn't stand up. If I tried to stand up, I would just collapse, like. And I still wasn't freaking out. I thought, this is just the mushrooms, the shrooms, obviously. I thought, so just wait it out. I wasn't freaking out or nothing at this stage. And I was near the toilet, which is outside of this room, obviously. And it's probably about 5 meters to the toilet walk. And I was on the floor, and I couldn't stand up, and I couldn't move my body properly. And I had to, on my back, push my legs on my back to get into the room. Like, it was a full struggle. It was a full struggle to get into this room. And I ended up pushing myself into the room to about there, like the door's over here. And I've come down, and I've ended up there lying on the ground. Then it started getting more hardcore. I couldn't lift my arms. I couldn't lift nothing of my muscles were working. And I still wasn't freaking out totally. I wasn't freaking out. I was just like, just ride it out. You'll be sweet. But literally, I couldn't get up. I couldn't raise my arm off the ground like one iota. And there was no way I could stand up or push myself up. It just was, my muscles just weren't working. They were switched off. They were just switched off. Then it really kicked in, and it started obviously we've got muscles for breathing and in our throat or whatever. And then I just started choking, like I was full on choking. So I can't move my body, my muscles aren't working. Then it's inhibited my breathing function. Like, my throat was either blocked, and I was breathing like this. And I was breathing like that, and then and it went on for about 5 minutes. And I did start freaking out then, like, because I thought I was going to die. I thought, that's it. You know, you're finished here, Warwick. And I was thinking to myself, fuck, Emma, my daughter's gonna have to deal with this, like, because I'm gonna be dead. These people who sold us the mushrooms are gonna be in big trouble. And I was peeking out that I was gonna die, and then I said to myself, okay, that's it. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Like, I couldn't move. I was just on my back on the floor. I was writhing, I guess. I was writhing from side to side, I was grabbing onto stuff, trying to breathe. Like, I could not fucking breathe. It was all from these mushrooms. These evil fucking mushrooms. If I had had much more and my throat had been like that, or my muscles, because nothing was functioning muscle-wise in my body. I thought to myself, why didn't I like do shit if my muscles aren't to hold it in, if they aren't working? But I was sort of, the muscles were tense and they couldn't, like, and my stomach, because I felt it the next day, muscles were sort of tense and they didn't function. Like, it was sort of like that. And I'm trying to breathe, and I've come to terms with, right, that's okay, I'm going to die, that's it. Then I still couldn't breathe, and then I changed my mind and I was like, fuck this, I'm not dying, whatever happens. Because I couldn't even talk, I couldn't yell, I couldn't, and I was trying to utter, like, my muscles weren't working for anything to work, like, and I was stuck to the floor like glue. It was like stuck to the floor like fucking glue. If I raised anything up a little bit, I couldn't, and I was just stuck down the floor. Like, it was almost as if gravity had just taken me over. Yeah, like, and yeah, I'd come to terms with death, and then as I full on couldn't breathe, it was hardcore, it was scary as fuck. And I said to myself, and I changed my mind, and I ended up saying to myself, I refuse to die. I refuse to die. I refuse to die now. I refuse. And then I was talking it a little bit more, like before I couldn't talk. And I was actually sort of saying, I refuse to die. I refuse to die. I'm not going to die. Like this. Yeah, I was just saying, whatever happens, I'm not dying here and now. It's not going on. And then luckily, my breathing, because that was the last thing to go, was the breathing. It was first all the muscles in my body and that, and then it was the muscles to do with my mouth and my throat and my diaphragm, I guess. And then I started, like, slowly being able to breathe. It just was easing up, and then I calmed right down, more or less. I was still freaking, but yeah, and it just, fucking hell, it was hardcore. So if you go out and get mushrooms, just take a bit first. Preferably don't have them, but because they can be deadly motherfuckers. Like, I don't know what these were. And yeah, like, this just stopped all my bodily functions. All my muscle weren't working. I couldn't tell them what to do. Like, when you just move your arm, you just do it. Like, I try and do it and it just wouldn't work. Yeah, and I just started breathing again, and then the breathing became easier, and then it became easier, and then I was still a bit of a mongoloid, and then I could end up yelling, and then I just started screaming and yelling for my daughter and for my wife. And then my wife comes out, and my daughter came out, and they were like, what the fuck's going on? And Rose didn't almost believe me, because I told her earlier I was having mushrooms, and so she looked them up. And so she got some bullshit, whatever information, because it's going to be different. Like, between mushrooms are going to be different. If you sort of, a few of them aren't the right ones. like there could be portions within like they were supposedly all in a bowl at this dude's house, and he just picked them out. Yeah. And yeah, it was fucking hardcore. So watch out with these mushrooms. Don't take them, basically. And if you do, if you're gonna, just make sure you're just taking a bit and you work out what they're about. Because the night before, it just seemed chilled, you know, and I thought, oh, double the amount won't matter. So I had a bit more than double the amount, but because Clive gave me a couple, and then after he mixed them, and he got, yeah, I'd kicked him out before this had happened, and he was walking around, and he sort of got stuck to the floor a bit, but nothing like what I went through with his throat and stuff, and couldn't breathe. Like I could not breathe. It was just like there was no air going down. It was like either my throat was blocked, or it was just the bodily function of the muscles retracting and being able to breathe. Like I think my throat was sort of blocked, and just stuck to the floor and peeking out, and then coming to terms with death, and then what a tianna. That's oh my god in Chinese. What a tianna. So there you go, peeps. There's a story for you. Be careful. You never know what's around the corner with it. And if you've had too much, you're sort of fucked because it's in your system, and then that's that. You have to, like, that we called the ambulance, and he said, oh, nothing we can do. I said, pump my stomach, and he's going, nah, it's already in your bloodstream. How long ago did you have them? Charcoal? No, same thing. It's already in your bloodstream. There's no use. You just have to wait it out. And luckily I'd gone over the main bad bit by the time the ambulance came. But he also was a prick. He was a prick, saying things like, oh, it'd be good if people didn't take mushrooms and call us up for, more or less he was alluding to, for no reason. You know? Like, he was a dickhead. I was on death's door as far as I was concerned. You know, he was just so unprofessional as an ambulance worker. This guy. I wish I knew his name because I'd write a letter. Not that that's going to do shit, but just to let this person know, like, what they are about. Like, because they need to hear it from somebody, because they obviously don't listen, this type of prick. But that's all another story. I'm going to go at 18:17. And I'm going to post this motherfucker. So see you later. Watch out with the mushrooms, with the shrooms. Be careful.